And here's lesson, well, it says 44, Mass, page 185. We have a boss question. Object A has the same mass as 2 erasers. Object B has the same mass as 6 erasers. If A and B are placed on the same balance, which we will draw a little bit later in this lesson. Oops. Okay, so there's a balance. In case this is helpful. Will they be level? A and B. So will they be level? Then how many of A would be needed to balance B? Okay, so give that a try. Okay, so this lesson introduces mass. Mass is technically how much matter, how much stuff is in an object, how massive it is. Usually, if we're on planet Earth, we can think about mass as being very similar to weight. Something that weighs more has more mass. So, if we said which one has more mass, an eraser or a textbook? Well, we'd think, okay, that textbook is definitely heavier, so that would have more mass. A plane versus a pencil. Well, which one is heavier and has more mass? A plane. Okay, you might want to pause and just go through these. A desk or a car. Well, a desk is massive, but a car is much more massive. A feather versus a house. House is way more massive. A bed, more massive than a paperclip. Planet Earth versus a building. Well, buildings are pretty massive, but planet Earth, extremely massive. Okay, so we are going to use a balance. If we were in class, it'd be really fun to have a real balance, and we could try balancing things, because the balance will only stay flat and level if both sides have the same weight on them. So for this example, I drew the 5-cent coin, nickel, and then I drew 5 paper clips. These are supposed to be paper clips. And those are the same mass. And so that would, these 5 together would be the same as this, which would make the scale flat. It would balance it. But if we put the 5-cent coin over here, so 1 nickel, it would be heavier than just 1 paperclip by itself, and so it would be all slanted like this. So the heavier thing will go down. So it's a fun thing to have. But this is a virtual one, so it's not quite as cool. So if we put some objects onto the balance, and it is actually balanced, so look nice and flat. Here is an eraser, and here are 3 pencils. So which object is more massive, an eraser or a pencil? Well, we can tell by looking at the balance that you need 3 of these to be as massive as 1 of these. So that means the eraser is more massive. 3 times more, actually. And then one last example, because this is just kind of an intro lesson. Which notebook has more mass? So here I put, I drew these little weights. And they might look a bit like they're floating, but just imagine that for this, they are stacked up on this side of the balance. So you have 4 1-gram weights. And then here, balancing it is a notebook. And then over here we have 2 of these 1-gram weights. And balancing that is this other notebook. So which notebook has more mass? This one or this one? Well, this one is balanced with these weights, so that means it's going to be the same. So 1 gram, or 1 gram times 4, I should say. So you have 4 grams of weight over here. That means that this notebook is also going to be 4 grams. Okay, well here we have on this side 2 grams. That means this notebook will also be 2 grams. So which one is more massive? The 4-gram one. Hopefully that helps you out when you're starting your jump lesson. Feel free to email with questions if you're able to get started on this before the end of the school year, which is so close.